Bear with me guys, whoever's watching right now. I'm just still trying to get things set up. Yeah, hopefully you can see everything. If you can't see or hear anything properly, just let me know so I can check the comments. Okay, so just to check, everyone can hear me, yeah? Okay, that's great. If it's too loud or anything, let me know. I'll turn it all down. Again, I'm just trying to get used to everything before we start. Hey guys, Frank Makes Movies, hey to you. Hey Mac. Good afternoon from Spain. Oh, it's nice to see. It's great to see where you all come from. Again, there's so many subscribers. It's coming from all around the world. It's kind of crazy. Okay, I've also just realised that I need two screens, so I can't see the comments unless I switch back over. So if I don't see your comments straight away, I'll have to come back and check them. USA, Florida. Do you know what? There's quite a few people from Florida in the USA that subscribe to this channel. It's quite weird. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe I appealed more to people from Florida. I don't know. Okay, so let's get things started. If people jump in later on, then I guess they can catch up. But the first thing I want to do is go ahead and check the masks. So if you've seen the tutorial before, we did the masks. I'll throw a link at the top so you can go ahead and check that out. But it just went into the basics of how to create masks and what to do with them. I'm just going to show you a few more things that I didn't really go into. So I'm going to change this over to the movie clip editor. But before I do that, just make sure that you're in Cycles Render and that you're also set the resolution to the video clip that you're going to use. So also make sure that it's 100%. A lot of people leave this at 50 and wonder why the masks don't work. A lot of the time it's because your percentage slider is at 50%. So let's go over and change this to the movie clip editor. Yeah, the sound was gone. It's a good job I just checked that. Thanks for noticing there, Mac. I'm not sure when I lost the sound, so I'll just jump back to the start and start again. Apologies for that. I moved the mic and it messed up. So the only thing I said was you need to change it to Cycles Render. Make sure that the resolution is the same as the movie clip that you're using, and also make sure that you're at 100%. Move this over to the movie clip. Go ahead and open up the movie clip that you want to use. I've lost it now. There it is. Okay, so yeah, if you need to prefetch it, press prefetch. Set scene frames would be the first one you should press. Apologies for that. So set scene frames, then hit prefetch. If it doesn't prefetch all the way, you will need to go to File, User Preferences, then System, and increase the memory cache limit. So hopefully things are working now. Yeah, apologies for that. Right, okay, so now we've got this prefetched, we can play through. As I mentioned before, we're going to add some colours to the lips, and then if we notice as we play through the footage, the hand actually goes in the way. So we'll need to rotoscope this hand out and then combine the masks in order for them to work. So again, it's very simple, but I just want to show you how you can manipulate the mask points to sort of work easier for you. So let's just jump back to the first frame. And we will need to track something later on to move the lips, but first I'm just going to go over to the masking mode. And then we can go ahead and create a new mask. And then, as always, if we hit Control, or if we hold Control and then left click, we're going to create these points like this. So, and then to finish it, just hold Alt and then C. We have the basic mask. Now we need to refine it. Press A twice, then press V, and then automatic. It does this. So when it does this and it looks very crazy, what we need to do is play with these points here. For each point that we created, it has this handle on the left and this handle on the right. And if we drag these in, it sort of pinches the curve. If we pull it out, it sort of extends the curve. So it's just a point, or it's just a matter of fact, just trying to move these around and get used to them. So let's move this down. For this effect, I'm going to keep the mask inside the lips. I don't want to go outside the lips. We will be adding a blur, so we don't need to go right to the edge. But if we just manipulate these points. See, for example, this curve here, it's not working for what we need, so just drag the corner point in. Same thing for this one. And what we can do as well, when we select the middle, if we press R to rotate, we can move these around. Okay, that looks like it'll work. So now we have this, we want to parent this to a tracker. So again, we need to go back to the tracking marker, or the tracking tool. So you can either go here and switch the mode, or just press tab. Now to create a tracking marker, it would be best if we had a point that we could track. On her face, she does have a beauty spot, so we could use that. But if I'm not going to use that, in case in your example or in the future you don't have that sort of spot to track. What we're going to be tracking is actually the corner of her mouth here. But you can track pretty much anything as long as it's moving in the same motion as the sort of the lips. So I'm going to track here. Okay, so for the tracking settings, if we go to motion, motion you can keep the same. Match, we're going to change this to previous frame, and we're also going to enable normalize. Now these two settings I always enable since it helps track better. Now you might not always need these settings. If you don't, just leave it as they are. What I do like to do as well is check search size. That will let me know how far the Blender is going to search for that pattern. So let's zoom in, hold Control and left click. I'm going to press S to scale this up. And then I'm just going to scale down this search size, otherwise it will take too long to track. Now again, normally when you create tracking markers, you never want them to be this big unless you're only using one or two of them, or just a small amount. But since we're only using one of them, we can go quite big with it. Anyway, so let's just track this forward. It does a pretty good job. You can play through and make sure this doesn't jump or slide out the way. That does a pretty good job actually, so we can leave that. Let's jump back to the first frame and then go back to the masking tab. So I'll press tab to go back to masking tools. Then we'll press B. We can use the box select, and I'm just going to select all of these. Since we already have the track selected, if we hold Control and then press P, it's now parented, so it'll move along. Looks okay. Now, that's not really rotoscoping, that's just creating a basic mask and then just parenting it to a track and then making it move, which is all well and good. But when you have an object that moves and it changes shape like this, we really need to rotoscope, and that generally takes frame by frame, or maybe 5 frames at a time, or 10 frames at a time, depends on how fast the hand or the object is moving. But for this, it's going to be fairly simple. If we jump to the last frame, since that's where we need to create the mask, and if I wasn't clear enough why we need to create this mask, when we create the effect or add color to these lips, right now it will add color to these fingers as well, which we don't want. So we're just essentially occluding the hand, or occluding the effect. So again, let's jump to the last frame. What we can do as well, when we press a new mask, this old one just goes away, and it'd be nice to see where the mask ends, or where the mask is. So let's just jump back to the first mask, which is this one here. We already have it selected, so if we press Ctrl+C to copy, go back to the first mask, the second mask, and we can name this, and then let's press Ctrl+V, paste it. Now we have this here, and we're going to use this as a template, so let's just open this and then left click twice. This is going to be the reference, and we're also going to be deleting this, so make sure you remember to delete it. I'm also going to press this icon here, which restricts the selectability, I guess is the word, I don't know. Anyway, so now we have this. We need to create the second mask, or the second layer within this mask. So just Control click. In fact, I'm going to give this a couple of points because I might need them later on. And then I'm just going to select all this, Alt-C, close it, and there's our next mask. So for this one, what we're going to need to do is insert keyframes. So instead of inserting keyframes each time, what I'm going to do is activate automatic keyframes. So if I just scroll my middle mouse wheel to reveal this section here, I'm just going to select this button. Now every time we move the mask, it will set a key point or a keyframe. So let's B to select all of these, and what I'm going to do is just drag it, or press G, just move it pretty close. Again, I'm going to add some blur, so we don't need to go right to the edge. Once we have this, let's, we've already set a keyframe. If we press T, you can see it's added a keyframe. Now if we press the left arrow on our keyboard, we're going to jump one frame. Excuse me, we're going to jump one frame. So now we have this. If we press G, we can sort of try and align it, but it doesn't really work. And then if we wanted to kind of rotate it, if we press R, it doesn't really work, and that's because you need to change the pivot point. So if we go down here, we have this section here, which is the pivot point, and let's change this to bounding box center. Now it's going to revolve or rotate around this center point here. So we press R to rotate. Now we have this, press G, and it makes things a lot easier, especially when objects are the same shape and they're just moving in space, or they're just rotating slightly. So just rotate it, move it along, then we press left arrow, again press G, and just keep going through. And it's as simple as that. Just rotate if you need to, press G, and if you need to manipulate these points, go ahead and do that. But yeah, just keep going backwards. Make sure you select all of them. Press G, press R if you need to. So it took me a while to get used to, or even to realize that this option was available, the pivot point, and just manually moving these points just takes a long time. So when you've got something where you can just rotate something pretty simple and pretty quickly, it's a time saver. So I'm just going to try and speed through these. I know you guys don't really want to wait around seeing this rotoscoping. You get the idea now, I guess. Let me just check the comments, make sure you guys are seeing things okay. Let's see, Captain Icy, yeah, I will upload this later on as a shorter version without me rambling, so you can watch that too. You guys don't even need to watch this. I will upload it later on. And also, if you guys don't really find this interesting, I'm not going to really upload or do live streams in the future. It's up to you guys. If you find it interesting, I'll do it. If not, no means, don't worry about it. Okay, so let's carry on. Rambling too much now, I apologize. See, that's the thing, when it's an edited video, I cut all this rambling out so you don't have to, there's no pain of hearing me talking rubbish. And when you're trying to focus on rotoscoping and talking at the same time, it's a bit difficult. Anyway, you get the idea. So when you're moving these forward and backwards, if you notice, I'm trying to get the same thickness or the same width to the end, if that makes sense. Because when we add the blur, we want to try and keep things even. We don't want it to look a bit thin later on. So try and keep things fairly even. If you notice as well, when the hand's moving quite fast here, there's a lot of blur or vector blur, motion blur, whatever you want to call it. It's probably motion blur is what the name is. But yeah, there's a lot of blur. So again, don't worry about how far it blurs. Don't sort of compensate by trying to get closer. Just leave it as what you think it's going to be, and I guess that's the best result. So you guys get the idea. Just keep going until you've completely moved this out of the way. Let's move on to sort of combining them in the node editor. So let's say you're happy with this. Let's go ahead and move over to the node editor. So as always, we need to move this over to the scene tab and check use nodes. See, mine are already here, but you do need to check use nodes, otherwise you won't see them. Also check backdrop, and then let's just move these out of the way. If you have the node wrangler add-on enabled, you can press Control, Shift and left click. It will then add a viewer node. If not, just Shift A, go to output and add a viewer. Same thing with this. I want to change this very quickly, so if I press Shift S instead of Shift A, I can just change this straight away to a movie clip. Another thing we can do, since we already loaded up the movie clip, just select this icon here, load up the movie clip, and just scale this down a little bit. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to add some colors to the lips, and you can do this in a few different ways. I'm going to do it in a very basic way, just so you can see the effect. So we'll go to color, go to mix, drop this on here, and change this to a color, let's say blue. And then depending on which blend mode you use, you'll get a variety of different effects. So I'm going to cycle through these, by the way. I did a quick video or a quick tip video showing you how to do that. But if you select the node, then hold Alt and then press down arrow, you'll just cycle through the blend types. But before we do that, I guess we should add the mask. Shift A, go to input, then to mask. Select the lips, and then just drop this into the factor. So now it looks like this. So again, if we start here and then just hold Alt, press down arrow, you can sort of see the different effects. Now I think hue is a good one. Let's try hue. That sort of matches the color pretty well. Obviously we do need to blend it and blur it, but that sort of matches the color pretty well. Another good one I think is overlay. So it doesn't give you the same color, so you will need to play around to get the color that you want, but it's sort of, I think it works quite nice depending on the occasion. Another good blend mode would be color. Let's try color. It's not too bad. Again, it depends what sort of effect you're trying to go for. Are you trying to put thick makeup on, or nice sort of natural looking lips, or I don't know, it's up to you what sort of effect you're trying to go for. So play around with the blend modes and find something that works for you. The next thing we're going to do is sort of fix this error here. So we just change this color so it stands out. And then when the fingers sort of go over here, we can now just occlude this. So let's do that. And again, I think we talked about combining masks in the previous tutorial, so you may already know how to do this. It's very easy. We just duplicate this lips mask and then just replace this with hands. So now this mask does this mask does this. So we want to combine it in a way so this is actually occluding this one, if that makes sense. I know I'm not really explaining it too well, but I think you guys understand. So let's Shift A, go to Converter, and then add in a math node. Just drop this in here, and then we preview what it does. Plug this in to the bottom. And if we change this to subtract, I think, that's not working. If not subtract, try multiply or divide. For some reason this is not working the way I should do. I guess this is the trouble of live stream. Let's try and invert this. And then change this to subtract. Not entirely sure why that's not working. So what I'm trying to do is have white here and then the black sort of just cutting it off, and I'm not sure why. It was working last time I tried it, so I don't know why it's not working now. Give me a second and I'll try and figure this out. If anyone can see what I'm doing wrong, I mean, it might be blatantly obvious. Just check the comments. Hey guys, hey, who's joining in? Right now I'm just having a bit of trouble trying to combine these two masks. So I'm trying to do an effect which is not really working out. We've got the lips, we've got the mask. I think this should be black. Oh, I know why. I'm such an idiot. Let me go back. When I added the mask, you guys probably noticed that. Let me go back to movie clip editor. I added this reference and I said, oh yeah, delete it. But I didn't, did I? So we need to delete this reference, this one here. If you didn't do that, I apologize. I just wasted like 3 or 4 minutes of your time. So now we go back to the node editor. If we change this, this should be subtract. So now we have this. So our lips subtracting this equals this, which is what it should do. Now we have this strange pink thing. That's just you need to clamp and then it's fixed. Change this color to something better. And I think the blend mode, I'm going to change this to hue. It's far too dark. And then let's blend these lips. So we're going to throw a blur. Now again, we've got two masks. The first one is for the lips and the other one is for the finger. So we don't want the same values for the blurs on each of these. We want two separate blurs. So let's drop this in here. And then, in fact, I'm going to do this a quick way. This is something somebody showed me. I can't really remember who it is now, but I will throw a comment later on. Somebody showed me how to do this very quickly. If you want the same number in both of these, instead of typing the number, then copying and pasting, what you can do, if you left click and drag down, you can select these and edit these both at the same time. I really can't remember who told me this, but thanks to you for saving me some time. So let's change this to 12, maybe some more because the lips need quite a bit. Might be too much. That looks okay. Again, the lips are far too bright. I wouldn't have it that color, but I mean, you get the idea for this tutorial. The lips again there need fixing. Let's go to the movie clip editor. What did we do wrong? Oh yeah, we need to finish off. I didn't really finish off rotoscoping, so you can forgive that bit there. You get the idea. So hopefully you guys are following this so far. If there's any questions or anything I can help with or anything I glossed over, be sure to ask. You know, this is just one sort of example of what you can do with these sort of rotoscoping techniques. For those of you who didn't see it so far, I basically showed you the pivot point. Normally your pivot point is like this. So when you're trying to rotoscope this out of the way, like this, and then you try and rotate, it doesn't really rotate. One tool that you can do is change the pivot point to bounding box, and this will then rotate the sort of object for you. I mean, that's essentially all we've learned in this sort of live stream. So I'm not sure how helpful it's been or how enjoyable it's been, but I know this is the first one. Let me know. You guys let me know if you're enjoying this or not. What else can we do? Any suggestions? Anything you guys want to see? I mean, I know I could mess around with a video. I mean, playing with masks, there's quite a few things we could do. I know what we could do. Let's just mess around. Let's start a new project, movie clip editor. I'm going to go ahead and load in a movie clip. And the video I'm going to use, what video could I use? Let's use a tutorial one. Just try this one, maybe. Sorry, I'm not prepared. I didn't really think what we could do in this live stream. Maybe in future live streams, you can sort of give me ideas what you guys want to see. Let's prefetch, set scene frames. Now, it's not really full shot. I'd really like it to be more zoomed out, but this could work. I want to sort of scoop out or hollow out the head. And let's see what we can do. So let's first set a tracking marker. I'm gonna move through this very, very fast. So if you guys sort of fall behind, let me know. Again, same as before. For this, you know what? I'm gonna track the eyebrow, or like the middle of the head here. When you don't have tracking markers, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do to add anything. So finding areas which don't move or are easy to see by Blender to be tracked is always a good thing, and it's always a challenge. I like finding areas on the face or on objects which it's really hard to track. So let's see if this works. This is going to be interesting. That's just not tracking. Why is it not doing it? Let's try again. Blender's crashing, I think. It's not a good sign. It died. Let me try and do that again. Sorry guys. Technical difficulties. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Movie clip editor. Open up the movie clip. Where was it? Tutorials. Which one did we use? This one. This one. Set scene frames, prefetch. Scroll out because that guy's creeping me out. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's try this. Why is it crashing? Don't crash again. This is typical for the first live stream. I have problems twice, maybe 3 times now. Does anyone know why this is not tracking? This is crazy. Or maybe because it's trying. Maybe it's trying. I'm just impatient. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm impatient because it's too large. To see how the search size was a lot bigger than before. Yeah, this is why. Just too impatient. Okay, now let's tracked. Let's have a look in the search area. Let's see if it jumped around. I mean, it's not perfect, but it kind of works for this example. If I was doing this and I was recording this for a specific reason, I would put a dot on the actor's face, or maybe 2 dots, just to track it, and then we can remove them later on. So always add the dots if you know you're going to add some visual effects later on, because they so really help out. Anyway, so let's jump back. So this one here, what I'm going to do, let's see, change this to masking mode. I'm going to call this head 1, and let's create a mask like this. Okay, again we need to parent this, but before we do that, oops, that's crazy. Before we do that, we need to select these, press V, press automatic, and then just fix this crazy thing. I kind of want to make it curl around. Yeah, that'll work. Now we have these, box select. Since the tracker is selected, press Ctrl P. That will follow. Then we're going to need another mask, so let's call this inside. And again, we need to use that other mask as a sort of reference. So I'm going to go back, use this. Since we have it selected already, press Control C. Jump over to the inside, press Control V. And again, make sure, well, in fact, instead of using this as an actual reference, we can use this as the mask, but just change it to be what we need it to be, if that makes sense. So what we can do, if we just A to deselect them, press B. I'm going to delete these so we get something like this. In fact, what I'm going to need to do is just change this completely. This is messed up here, so I can delete this one. Just select it, press delete, and you can delete it. I kind of want to make it do this, so I'll need to change the first mask just to sort of match this mask. But see, like that. So what I'm going to do instead this time, I'm just going to select these, copy them, go back to this one, go back to this one. I'm going to delete this one, just paste this in, and then Control left click, just add these points up here. That's kind of all I want. And again, I think we need to parent these, so if we play this, no, it works. I thought we might have had to parent them, we don't, so that's good. Go back to the other mask, my apologies, this one here, and we need to parent this now to the, oh, it already is, because we copied it, didn't realize that. So job's done. So now we have this. Let's go over to the node editor and see what we can do. So use nodes, backdrop, add in a viewer node, change this, Shift S, remember we did before. If people are just jumping in and like, what the hell's he doing? You're probably going to have to watch the first part to sort of realize what I'm doing right now, but I'm just switching the node instead of adding a new one. And I'm doing it very quickly, so again, if anyone's falling behind, let me know. Blender and live stream equals crashing. You know what? Blender crashing on its own, and then live stream adding on top of that, it's even worse. So I don't know if I can handle the pressure. Anyway, so let's zoom out. Again, this guy's creeping me out. And what do we need to do? So Shift A, go to color, mix. And what I'm going to do is, if we, again, make sure this is plugged into the viewer first. If I select this color here, go down to the color picker, just select the color behind it. And this probably only will work if this sort of situation where there's nothing behind it and the sort of the wall's very clean and bare. If you've got a green screen, then this is all the better. Doesn't need to worry about it, but I don't know, this is sort of what we're getting. If we mix them just using that color, Shift A, go to input, then mask, and we're going to use head 1 as the factor, so plug that in. We have this, which doesn't look too good. Shift A, let's go to, we will be adding another mask to this just to get rid of these bits of hair here, but for right now I'm going to move on to the next part, which is adding the inside of the head. So to do that, just Shift D, duplicate this. I'm going to drop it onto the composite node here, so then I can just press Control Shift and left click, which is just an easier time saving way, I guess. Now I'm going to plug in the movie clip image into the bottom here, and then we're going to use, if we go to input, in fact what we could do is just copy this mask here and then change it to inside. We get this, which doesn't look too good. So in fact, instead of using this image, oh, again, do I need to delete the thing? Let me go back to the movie clip. I might have messed up. No, I didn't. That's fine. Yeah, so what I need to do is add an image. So let's find an image. Textures. I'm sure I have something, maybe blood, that could work. I'm going to plug this into the image. We get this because if we look at the original image, it's really small compared to the scene, so that's why it's showing black and black. So if we Shift A, add in a distort, a scale, I'm just going to make this render size, just so we have this big image. And then if we Shift A, go to, let's see, we can either add a transform or a translate. If we add a transform, we can change the scale as well. So I'm going to add a transform node. Just scale this up a bit and then move it. Maybe make it a lot bigger. I don't know, something like that. It's just something crazy with a mask. You can do anything. I mean, I'd like to see what you guys, the ideas you come up with using masks and what you can do. I'm going to tidy these parts up. You can maybe add something inside it, or maybe add something coming out of it, or even what we probably could do if we use the original. We could probably animate the head or the top of the head coming off. Let's try that. What would we need? Which mask? Could try this one. I'll plug this mask into the factor. Try that again. So we have this. This is what it would look like. Now, if we, what are we going to move? We're going to move the mask and the head. So we're going to Shift A, distort, translate. I'm going to drop this on the bottom string here, and then duplicate it, Shift E, and put this onto the mask factor string here. So Shift A, go to input, add in a value, just so we can connect these up. If we move this, we can sort of slice the head off and animate this value, or we could actually do it for the up. Kind of crazy. And again, it would look better if the whole face or the whole head was sort of in shot, but I don't know, maybe you could do something with this. Again, you'd probably want to blur the edges, add an inside rim, make it look a lot more realistic. Obviously the color grading as well needs work. But off the top of the head, this is just, it looks pretty cool. Maybe we should do this in the future. Am I crazy? Is this a good thing to do? Should we do this in the future? I don't know, let me know. But yeah, I mean, this is the first live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm not sure what else we could do. I better check the comments, make sure you guys are following along. It's probably like only a few of you left. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to call this done. I mean, I'm not sure how long it's been. It's been 40 minutes. Almost. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments. Also give it a like. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.